Okay, picture this. You're in a stadium, absolutely buzzing. It's electric.
Yeah.
Quarterfinal match, everything's on the line. You can feel the tension, right?
Yeah.
Every pass, every tackle, everyone's holding their breath.
Total high-stakes moment.
Exactly. The clock's ticking down, whistle blows, and then bam, a really controversial call. Maybe two.
The worst.
And the crowd noise just changes. It's not just cheering anymore. It's this roar of disbelief, of feeling robbed.
Yeah.
What happens when that spirit of competition gets, totally overshadowed by claims of unfairness, of bias?
Well, that's when things get really complicated, isn't it? Because it hits right at the core of why we watch sports. We expect a level playing field.
Right.
And when those feelings, those accusations, turn into actual formal legal challenges, then it becomes something much bigger than just fans debating online. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. A legal challenge that's, well, it's making waves in African football right now. It's about the 2024 African Nations Championship, the CHAN tournament. Specifically, a quarter-final match.
Okay, let's unpack this properly then. Today, we are diving deep into this pretty bold petition. It's been lodged with the Confederation of African Football, CAF, and it's asking for something huge, a replay of a key match.
A whole replay?
Yeah, citing, and this is the crucial part, outright bias and unlawful officiating. The match, Kenya's Harambee Stars versus Madagascar. Big one.
Absolutely. And, this isn't just about one game's result. It really pulls focus onto bigger questions, like what is sportsmanship? What's the role of the officials? And, crucially, how do you hold people accountable in these huge international sports bodies? So we're going to dig into the specific claims they're making, what exactly they're asking CF to do, and I suppose what this all means for fairness in sports moving forward.
So for you listening, maybe you're a massive sports fan, you know that feeling of a bad call. Or maybe you're just interested in how legal fights pop up in unexpected places.
Or you just like getting to the bottom of a complex story.
Yeah. This deep dive should, hopefully, shed some light on that tricky place where sports, law, and ethics all collide. It's got passion, disappointment, and this determined fight for, well, what they see as justice.
Definitely a fascinating case.
So let's set the scene a bit more. This match, Kenya's Harambee Stars against Madagascar, 2024 CHAN quarterfinals.
Right.
And for Kenya, this wasn't just another game. People were calling it their fairy tale run. They'd been playing out of their skins, beating expectations.
Absolutely. There was huge buzz around the team, real hope building up across the country. Every win felt like a massive step forward.
You can just imagine the atmosphere at the stadium, the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. Tacked, probably.
Oh, undoubtedly electric. All that national hope riding on this one match, a semifinal spot up for grabs, huge pressure.
But, well, the fairy tale didn't quite have the happy ending they wanted. It stopped right there. Kenya lost 4-3 in a penalty shootout.
Agonizing. After fighting so hard to lose on penalties, that's just brutal for any team, any set of fans. A really tough way to go out.
And that kind of heartbreak, especially in such a high-stakes game, often leads to, well, questions being asked.
And in this case, more than just questions. It led to action.
Yeah, the person pushing this petition is Mbuvi Sonko, the former Nairobi governor. And he's not just, tweeting about it.
No, this is formal. He's gone through official channels.
Represented by a lawyer, Arnold Ojinga. And they've lodged this petition directly with CAF.
And importantly, they've done it using a specific part of CAF's own rules. It says the petition was filed pursuant to Article 43 of the CAF Statute.
Okay, Article 43. What does that mean, practically?
Well, it basically means they're using CAF's own internal constitution, its own rule book that covers how things are run, discipline, disputes, all of that.
So it signals this is a serious legal challenge based on CAF's own framework, not just like an angry letter.
Exactly. It gives it formal standing right from the start. They're saying, we're using your rules to challenge this.
Right. So Article 43 is the doorway they're using. Let's get into the core of it then. What are the specific things Sonko's petition is actually claiming happened on the pitch? What's this bias they're alleging?
Okay, so the petition claims quite directly that the match officials exhibited outright bias. Strong words.
Outright bias.
Wow. And the main evidence, the key point they're making, centers on two massive incidents. They allege that the officials unlawfully disallowed 2 goals scored by Kenya.
2 goals in a quarterfinal that ended up going to penalties.
Precisely. I mean, even one disallowed goal in a tight match like that is huge. 2, if true, that completely changes the narrative of the game.
It absolutely could. And okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me, thinking about modern football. What about VAR? The video assistant referee, surely that's meant to catch major errors.
Well, that's another key part of the allegation. The petition claims the officials failed crucially here. It says they did not review these specific disallowed goal incidents using VAR.
I didn't even look.
That's the claim. That the system designed to correct clear and obvious errors, as they say, wasn't used when it perhaps should have been.
Okay, that adds another layer. And it wasn't just about VAR, was it?
No, the petition mentions another omission, too. It says the officials also didn't consult with team captains, coaches, or other officials about these decisions.
So it's not just the calls themselves, but the whole process, or maybe the lack of process around making them.
Exactly. It suggests a potential breakdown in standard procedures, the kind of checks and balances you'd expect, which adds weight to their argument about unfairness. It's about transparency, too.
Yeah, that makes sense. And they connect these specific points, the goals, the lack of VAR, the lack of consultation, to a bigger ethical argument, don't they? There's a quote.
Yes, it's quite powerful. The petition states, "The conduct by the match officials is greatly prejudicial to the Republic of Kenya and contravenes the spirit of sportsmanship, loyalty, integrity, and ethics."
So they're really framing it as something that undermines the core values of sport itself.
Absolutely. They're elevating it beyond just bad calls.
Yeah.
They're arguing these actions, taken together, fundamentally breached the principles of fair play and integrity that CAF is supposed to champion. It's not just a mistake. It's presented as something ethically wrong.
And this isn't just aimed at the main referee on the pitch.
No, and that's a really interesting legal point made by Sonko's lawyer. They argue that the term match officials in the CAF code is broad.
Right.
It covers the ref, assistant refs, match commissioners, inspectors, basically anyone officially appointed for the game.
So they're spreading the responsibility, not just pinning it on one person.
Exactly. It leads them to this idea of joint responsibility. And from there, they make a very serious accusation.
Which is?
That these officials allegedly conspired to deny Kenya a fair opportunity to advance to the semifinal.
Conspired?
Yeah.
That's a huge claim, implying intent, not just error.
It is. It's a massive leap from incompetence to conspiracy. Proving something like that, of course, would require incredibly strong evidence. The legal bar is extremely high. But it shows the level of grievance here.
Definitely raises the stakes.
Yeah.
Okay, so given these really strong claims, bias, disallowed goals, lack of process, even conspiracy, what are they actually asking CAF to do? What are the remedies Sonko is looking for?
Well, the demands are pretty sweeping, audacious, you might say.
Go on.
Primarily, there are three main things. First, nullify the decisions to disallow those two Kenyan goals. Just wipe them off the record.
Okay.
Second, annul the result of the penalty shootout entirely.
Get rid of the shootout result.
Yep. And third, and this is the biggest one, award the match directly to Kenya's Harambee Stars.
Just give them the win and put them in the semifinals.
Essentially, yes. Declare Kenya the winner, overturn the result completely.
Wow. That is asking a lot. To basically rewrite the championship bracket after the fact, is there like a backup plan if CAF says no to that?
Yes, there's an alternative demand. It's still significant, but maybe slightly less radical if those first demands aren't met.
Yeah.
Sonko wants CFF to order a full replay of the quarterfinal match.
A replay. Okay, so Kenya gets another chance on the pitch.
Exactly. Under different circumstances, presumably with different officials, but it doesn't stop there. The petition also focuses on the officials themselves.
All right, accountability.
Yes. It demands that the referee and the other match officials involved be reprimanded, disciplined somehow, for breaching CF's code of conduct and statutes.
So sanctions for the individuals, too.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Fines, suspensions, that sort of thing. So it's really attacking the issue from both ends, the match result and the conduct of those in charge.
It's a very comprehensive approach. Okay, let's step back a bit. How likely is any of this? I mean, overturning a result in the major tournament, ordering a replay, does that actually happen in international football?
Well, it's extremely rare, especially at this level, a continental championship quarterfinal.
Why is that?
Generally, football governing bodies like CAF and FIFA give a huge amount of weight, almost finality, to the decisions made by officials on the field of play. There's a principle that the game needs to flow, decisions are made in the moment, and you generally accept them, even the bad ones.
The human error part of the game?
Kind of, yeah. Reversals usually only happen if there's absolutely undeniable proof of something like match fixing or a fundamental misapplication of the rules, not just judgment calls, however poor they might seem.
So the bar is incredibly high for overturning a result.
Extremely high, and you can see why. If every controversial match led to replays or overturned results based on petitions?
It would be chaos. Endless appeals, lawyers getting involved after every game.
Pretty much. It could paralyze the sport. So CAF faces a really tricky balancing act here.
How so?
Well, they have to rigorously investigate the claims made in the petition using their own statutes that Sonko cited. They need to look at the evidence, VAR footage if it exists, referee reports, etc. They have to take allegations of bias and procedural failure seriously to maintain credibility.
Right, they can't just dismiss it out of hand, especially
Yeah.
when it's filed formally under their own rules.
Exactly. But they also have to consider the precedent. If they do order a replay or even just heavily sanction the officials based on this, does that open the floodgates? Will every team that feels hard done by launch a similar legal challenge?
It could fundamentally change how the game is managed after the final whistle.
It really could. It puts enormous pressure on officials and could lead to a much more litigious environment around football. So CAF has to weigh the specifics of this case against those broader implications for the sport's governance.
It really highlights that tension, doesn't it, between the need for decisions to be final on the field and the demand for fairness and accountability when things seem to go wrong.
Absolutely. And with technology like VAR, the expectation for correctness is higher, even though VAR itself can be controversial. It forces these bodies to constantly reassess how they handle disputes.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? We've gone through Sonko's petition, these really serious claims of bias, disallowed goals, the lack of VAR use, and these huge demands like overturning the result or forcing a replay.
Yeah, it's a really bold move challenging the outcome and the official's conduct.
What does it all signal, do you think?
Well, connecting it to the bigger picture, I think this deep dive really shows the incredible pressure match officials are under these days.
For sure.
And it shows that stakeholders, whether it's former governors, clubs, or federations, are increasingly willing to use formal legal channels when they feel seriously wronged. They're not just complaining anymore, they're using the rule books against the governing bodies themselves.
Right.
It puts bodies like CAF in a tough spot. They need to ensure fair play and hold officials accountable, but without undermining the flow of the game or creating chaos. The outcome here, whatever it is, could definitely influence how similar disputes are handled elsewhere.
So, for you listening, it leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? When the stakes get this high in sports and the emotions are running so incredibly deep, what does justice actually look like? And how do we make sure that phrase we hear all the time, the spirit of sportsmanship, isn't just, a nice idea, but something that's actually real and enforceable for every match, every decision on the field and off it?
It's a complex question, no easy answers.
Definitely something to think about. This case gives us a real window into those challenges at the heart of competition, fairness, and the rules that govern it all.